What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to some more Dead by Daylight. In today's video, we are going to be checking out the brand new developer update, but before we get right into it, let's go and check out what Dead by Daylight had to say on social media. They said the 8.3.0 PTB is on the way, along with changes to 20 perks, the finishing Mori, and killer changes. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this is a pretty big developer update, especially since they go into detail about every single perk that's being updated and or changed. So this is pretty crazy. Look at all this. Look at all this right here. But anyway, this is gonna be a pretty lengthy video. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Right here, it does say the next update features an especially large number of perk tweaks and reworks on top of our usual killer tweaks and new features. And in this post, we'll dig into each of the changes and share our reasoning behind them. Alright, here we go. The finishing Mori. Major update. This is something a lot of people have been wondering about, so let's go and get started. It says, the new killer can now perform a Mori on the final survivor without using an offering. Number 2, objects obstructing the camera during the Mori animation will fade away. Number 3, rework. Memento Mori offerings have a new effect to gain a large blood point bonus when performing a Mori on the final survivor. Okay. They also put a dev note on there. It says, when the finishing Mori system was tested previously, many found it and the surrounding gameplay changes to have too large of an effect on the match. We have scaled back the system to better suit what players expected from it. Killers now have the option to kill the final survivor if they so choose. They will provide some visual flair and create a satisfying end to a match. Since this change would make Memento Mori offerings obsolete, we have reworked them to instead reward the killer with a large amount of blood points based on their rarity when a Mori is performed. We have also added a new mechanic which hides nearby objects when a Mori is happening to prevent rocks, crates, and other things from really standing in the way, so you can see the kills in all their glory. Moris, man, Moris, how much we have changed in the game. This is just crazy. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started on all the perks that are going on, all the updates to the perks. Let's go ahead and get started with this one right here. Teamwork, Power of 2, medium update. Number 1, this effect will linger for a few seconds when out of range. Re-entering the range before the linger time expires will maintain the effects. Number 2, increased range from 8, 12 to 16 meters. It was usually 12. Removed Teamwork Power of 2 no longer has a cooldown of 180, 160, 140 seconds. Removed no longer deactivates when either survivor loses a health state. There's a dev note on here. It does say this perk grants a speed boost to both survivors after healing as long as they stick together. This alone is pretty conditional, so we have removed the cooldown entirely and removed the added deactivation clause to simplify the perk and make it feel better to use. We've also increased the range slightly to make it a little easier to maintain. Let's go ahead and move on to the second one. It says Teamwork Collective Stealth. This effect will linger for a few seconds when out of range. Re-entering this range before the linger time expires will maintain the effects. Increased range to 8, 12, 16 meters. It was 12 meters before. Teamwork Collective Stealth no longer has a cooldown of 180, 160, 140 seconds. No longer deactivates when either survivor loses a health state. There's a dev note as well. It says, we have given a similar treatment to Teamwork Collective Stealth. Healing and staying near each other is already quite the demand, so we have removed the unnecessary cooldown and health state additions. The range will match other teamwork perks for consistency. Okay, all right. I'm not gonna lie, I did not use these perks to begin with, like at all, but with this update, I might just have to. It looks like it's gonna be pretty worth it. But anyway, let's go and keep going. Down here, we do have corrective action. It is a minor update. It says now applies to survivors within 8 meters was cooperating on the same action. Prevented failed skill checks now become great skill checks. Was good skill checks. Okay. The dev note does say corrective action previously only prevented progress lost from other survivors' missed skill checks. This could be great when playing with a new friend, but not very useful for more experienced players. We have changed the result to great skill check to provide a marginal progress boost whenever the perk activates, giving it some value in higher end matches. Now, this is a perk I never used at all whatsoever, but looks like it's gonna be a little bit worth it now, especially since they become great skill checks. And the effect now applies to survivors if they're close by, so that's pretty cool. And right here we do have Inner Focus, a medium update. Increased aura reading duration to 6, 8, 10 seconds. It was 3, 4, and 5. Removed the range requirement. Okay. Dev note, this perk previously required you to be within 32 meters of the survivor who loses a health state, meaning you would often know where the killer is anyway. We have removed this condition. This will make Inner Focus a useful tool for keeping track of the killer's whereabouts regardless of where they are in the map. Alright, that's pretty cool. Next is gonna be We're Gonna Live Forever. Ah yes, an OG perk right here. Medium update, change, increase healing speed bonus to 150%. It was 100, that's pretty sick. Dev note does say survivors aren't left in a dying state often, so we want to make sure this perk is effective when the situation arises. Removed, endurance effect no longer needs to be activated. New, added a 30-second cooldown to the endurance effect. Okay. Dev note, the endurance aspect of the perk made the perk overly complicated to make use of, so we have replaced this with a cooldown instead. The cooldown only applies to the endurance effect, not the healing speed increase. Let's go and keep it going. We have Poised, medium update. Yet again, another perk from Jane that I never used. Right here it does say new. When you first start repairing a generator, see the killer's aura for 6 seconds. Change, increase duration to 10, 12, 14 seconds. It was 6, 8, 10 seconds. Dev note, to make Poised more appealing, we're introducing a new effect in addition to the original one. When you first start repairing a generator, you'll see the killer's aura. This will keep tabs on where they are throughout the match. We've also increased the duration of the original effect to help you cover more ground without leaving tracks. Now this update right here is actually pretty good in my opinion. This is really good. Information is key in DBD, and even though it's only for a couple seconds right here when seeing the killer's aura, that's great. You know where they are in the map, you can choose what gen you want to work on, and it's awesome. Okay, this update's really good and I totally agree with it. Anyway, let's go and keep going. Blood Rush, this one is a major update. Right here it does say, change, Blood Rush now activates for 40, 50, 60 seconds after being unlocked. Previously activated permanently when you were one hook away from death. New, Blood Rush now deactivates upon performing a conspicuous action. New, Blood Rush now deactivates when the exit gates are powered and removed. Blood Rush no longer heals or provides the broken status effect. Okay. Dev notes does say this perk had a lot of effects in an equally strict set of conditions. We have simplified it to focus on the exhaustion recovery, which tended to be the main appeal for the perk. To allow this effect to happen more often, Blood Rush now activates for a set duration after you are unhooked. Killers will want to be careful not to chase Blood Rush users after they are unhooked, since they will be harder to catch. This effect will be disabled if the survivor performs a conspicuous action or if the exit gates are powered. Yet again, another perk I never really messed with, but I'm probably going to have to, especially after this major update, because I feel like this might be a good idea when it comes to tunneling, you know, when the killer just keeps going after the same survivor, especially right after they're unhooked, just to make them quit the game or just make them kill themselves on hook. So I feel like this perk might help out a little bit, so we're just going to have to wait and see. Well, let's go ahead and keep it going. Right down here, we do have Quick Gambit getting a medium update. When chased, see the auras of other survivors. Quick Gambit now has a 60-second cooldown upon losing a health state. Reduce repair speed bonus to 345%. It was 678. Repair speed bonus no longer has a limit range. That's interesting. Down here it does say, Dev note, Quick Gambit previously required survivors to lead the killer toward the generator in order to get any benefits. This was very risky and often resulted in the killer chasing those survivors instead. This perk no longer has a range requirement and now shows the auras of other survivors, so you can do the opposite. Keep the killer away from them. To balance this out, Quick Gambit will now go on cooldown upon losing a health state, making it more challenging to keep active and providing the killer a way to play around it. Okay, you know what? I think that's a good update. Not too bad, not too bad. Let's go and keep it going with Distortion. Ow! I do use this perk from time to time, so this is gonna be pretty interesting to see. Medium update. Distortion no longer has tokens and instead deactivates once used until the next time you are chased. Okay. Change, increased duration to 8, 10, 12 seconds. It was 6, 8, 10 seconds. There's a dev note. It says Distortion counters a lot of perks and add-ons. The token system and recharge mechanic makes Distortion far too effective and allows survivors to go unseen for the entire batch. To limit its effectiveness, we have removed the token system and made it so Distortion only reactivates upon being chased. So you have extended the duration slightly to help account for longer aura reading effects to compensate. That is pretty interesting. I don't know. I did like the token system, I'll be honest. We're gonna have to see how this plays out. I don't think I like it just upon reading this, but we're gonna have to wait and see. But let's keep it going. Right down here, we do have Lucky Star getting a minor update. Now suppresses grunts of pain and pools of blood as long as you are in the locker. This effect lingers for 30 seconds after exiting the locker. It was 10 seconds after entering. Dev note, Lucky Star's short duration often meant it would wear off before the killer left the area. It will now stay active as long as you are in the locker and linger for a set duration after you leave. Okay, I do like that little buff right there for that perk that I'm sure no one used. Anyway, right down here. Oh, okay, we're finally moving on to the killer perks. This is awesome. I'm looking forward to this. Let's go. It says genetic limits, major updates. Anytime a survivor loses a health state, they suffer from exhaustion for 6, 7, 8 seconds. Dev note, genetic limits previously affected survivors who healed, which often led to the exhausted effect expiring before they could be chased. It will now apply to survivors who lose a health state instead, but with a shorter duration. This will provide more consistent value, though skilled survivors may be able to outlast the effect. Pretty big update. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments about this one. It'll be fun to use with certain builds, but to be honest, I don't think this one's gonna make it into my like meta builds, you know. But anyway, let's go and keep it going. We have leverage. Oh my god, dude. Anytime I see anything when it comes to the skull merchant, I just take a deep breath and just like, you know, I'm just like, here we go. But anyway, medium update. Rework. When a survivor performs an unhook, their healing speed is reduced by 30, 40, 50% for 30 seconds. That's what I mean. But anyway, Dev note says leverage used to gain strength as the match went on. This made leverage ineffective early on, often only becoming effective when the match was nearly won anyway. We have reworked it to be much simpler and provide consistent value. Leverage now discourages survivors from healing directly under the hook. Moving on to the second Skull Merchant update, Whack. Rework. Whack now starts with 3 tokens. Gain 1 token upon hooking a survivor. When breaking a pallet or a breakable wall, consume 1 token and cause survivors within 24 meters to scream and reveal their location for 3, 4, 5 seconds. Dev note, Whack used to only activate once per hook, leading to it often being wasted. By introducing tokens, killers can often store these uses for later and potentially use it more than once in a chase. Okay, and now we're moving on to a singularity perk right here. It says machine learning. Medium update, change. The most recently damaged generator becomes compromised. Okay. Dev note, machine learning previously required to damage 1 generator to activate it, then another to compromise it. This made it awkward to use. To simplify this, the most recently damaged generator will always be compromised. Only 1 generator can be compromised at a time. Okay, I like this update. And moving on to Deathbound down here, it did get a medium update. It says Deathbound no longer has a distance requirement to activate. Deathbound no longer has a duration and instead deactivates when the healer is hooked. Dev note, this perk's range condition made it inconsistent to use. To simplify it and give it a nice boost in strength, we have removed both the range requirement and the duration. I like this. I liked it a lot. But anyway, gonna keep it going to Zanchin Tactics. Dude, I have not heard this perk in a while. I've not heard of this perk or anything in a while, but looks like it's getting a major update. Let's see what they have in store for us. Rework. When a survivor is within 6 meters of a drop pallet within 16 meters of your location, their aura is revealed for 6, 8, 10 seconds. The dev note does say revealing pallet and windows was such less useful for killers than survivors since the killer is present every time a pallet is broken. We have reworked this perk to instead of reveal survivor auras near drop pallets. This will provide some useful info during a chase and allow for some interesting mind games. Okay, all right, boys and girls, looks like we're gonna have to start using Zanchin Tactics just to see if it's actually good now, because we never used it before. Let's be honest, you never used it before either. Okay, don't lie. Moving on to Dead Man Switch right here, minor update. Now applies to the first survivors who stops repairing generator. Increased duration to 40, 45, 50 seconds. It was 20, 25, 30. The dev note says Dead Man Switch provides a very powerful effect, but can sometimes get out of hand when combined with other perks. We have changed it to activate only on the first survivor who stops repairing to limit how powerful it can be and increases duration to compensate. All right, not too bad. Moving on to Blood Echo medium update. Okay, Blood Echo no longer has a cooldown. Reduce duration to 20, 25, 30 seconds. Okay. All right. I might have to start using this. Dev note, Blood Echo previously had a long cooldown. This felt unnecessary since the requirement of hooking a survivor itself spaced out its activations. This has been removed, allowing the perk to activate more frequently and reduce the duration slightly to compensate. I like this. This perk I feel like had a lot of potential and I used it a lot, but I feel like I wasn't getting a lot out of it. You know what I mean? So with this update, I'm definitely going to be using it a lot more. It's definitely a lot of fun, especially pairing it with other perks. So I'm definitely going to be using this. Let's get move on to Hex Crowd Control. The last 3, 4, 5 vaults which survivors rush vault are blocked by the entity. This lasts until the Hex Totem is cleansed. Dev note, in vault heavy areas, it was possible for survivors to outlast the effect by linking together multiple windows. Going forward, this most recently vaulted windows will be blocked until the Hex is cleansed. Let's keep it going. It says major update to Predator. I think this is a Wraith perk, if I'm not mistaken. It says when a survivor escapes a chase, reveal their aura for 6 seconds. This perk then goes on cooldown for 60, 50, 40 seconds. The dev note does say Predator has always caused mixed feelings. Some feel like tighter scratch marks make tracking easier. Others find it makes finding survivors harder. We have given this a new effect which will be more useful for all. Those struggling to keep track of survivors will find Predator handy for giving them a second chance. Meanwhile, more experienced players may find some use by intentionally breaking chase. It looks like we are finally done with all the perk updates, so now we're gonna move on finally to the killer updates. So first things first, this is something a lot of people have been waiting for. It is the Skull Merchant update. Guys, this could be really good, this could be really bad, and just sets everyone on a rampage. All right, so let's get into it. Medium updates. Focus, lock in. Decreased hindered penalty when scanned by a drone to 5%. It was 10%. Oh my god, okay. So far so good. Removed. The Skull Merchant no longer gains haste when scanning a survivor. Oh my god, they're listening. Okay. Dev note, these two effects combine to create a huge speed difference between the killer and survivors. We have removed one and toned the other down to a fair level. Change. Reduced number of drone scan lines to 1. It was 2. Change. Drones are now always in their active state. Change. Drone scan lines are now invisible beyond 16 meters. The dev note does say, being unable to see drone scan lines made them very difficult to play around accordingly. Scan lines will now always be visible when nearby and invisible when out of range. Additionally, we have reduced the number of scan lines per drone to allow for more counterplay. Guys, this is a good update, okay? Do we still hate the killer? Yes, 100%. Will it be a little easier to actually counter this kill a little bit when it comes to loops, when it comes to them using their power? Will it be a little easier? Yes. I like this. It's going the right direction. Are we there yet? I don't know. We're gonna have to wait until this drops and then we'll see. Anyway, I think this is going in the right direction. Anyway, let's go and keep it going. Next up, we have the Hillbilly getting a minor update. It says decrease time before overdrive starts to dissipate to 8 seconds. It was 15 seconds. Decrease overdrive movement speed to 11.5. It was 13. Decrease the overdrive charge gained while revving and sprinting to 1.5 seconds. It was 2 seconds. Increase chainsaw missed attack cooldown to 2.7 seconds. It was 2.5. The dev note does say, it's been great seeing the Hillbilly rise in popularity. Now that he's had some time to settle, we've identified a few aspects of his new overdrive mechanic that could use some fine tuning. Overdrive tended to kick in very frequently, staying active for a large portion of the match. These changes will make the overdrive mechanic a little less common and provide less of a speed boost when it is active. We've also increased the missed attack cooldown slightly to make it harder to follow up a missed chainsaw with a basic attack. Now, this is definitely a nerf to the Hillbilly. Is a huge nerf? Definitely not. I definitely think you'll see a slight, very slight difference when you're playing this killer once this goes live, but I don't think it'll be that huge. I think it'll still play about the same. But anyway, let's go and keep going. We have the twins. Minor update. It says increased Victor's cooldown when crushed to 20 seconds. It was 15 seconds. Okay. 5-second nerf. It says increased cooldown after Victor downs a survivor to 3.2 seconds. It was 2.7 seconds. Okay. The dev note does say, following their update earlier this year, the twins saw a sharp increase in lethality. To keep them in check, have slightly increased how long it takes for Victor to recover after downing a survivor. We have also slightly increased how long it takes for Victor to become available after being crushed by a survivor to make it more impactful when a survivor manages to pull it off. Now, just like with the Hillbilly, I do think these are very slight changes, except for that cooldown when Victor is crushed, changing it from 15 to 20 seconds. That 5-second difference, I do think is a lot. But then again, I do feel like whenever I'm playing Survivor and go up against the twins, I do feel like I'm going up against Victor a lot more than I am Charlotte. So this change might be a good thing. Well, boys and girls, we have finally arrived at the final section of the developer update. All right, so far everything we covered. If you guys have anything to say, let me know down in the comments. Let me know if you like these updates, if you hate them. Let me know what they should have changed, what they shouldn't have changed. Let me know. All right, let me know down in the comments. But anyway, moving on to the final thing, which is the unknown minor update. It says HUD update to display teleport cooldown and hallucination spawn time. Okay. There's a change. Movement speed now decreases sooner when charging your power. Increases teleport recovery speed by 15%. Adjustments to blurry photo and vanishing box add-ons. Improved visual and audio feedback when using UVX. The dev notes do say, this is a long dev note. Alright, let's get started. It says, we tend to revisit killers a few months after they release and see if they need any balance changes. It turns out the unknown is already in a pretty good spot and is well liked by players, so that makes our job easy this time around. Dude, I'll be honest, I hate going up against the unknown. I hate going up against the unknown so much. Tapping the power button can postpone a hallucination from spawning, but to a survivor it appears as if you're about to launch UVX. This forces survivors to constantly dodge and lose distance without slowing down the killer. We have reduced the window before the killer slows down while charging their power. This will make it harder to tap the power button without slowing down while focusing on a chase. We noticed that the blurry photo add-on is a fan favorite, so we have incorporated part of its effect into the base kit and toned it down to compensate. This will allow more freedom to experiment with other add-ons without missing out. We have also toned down the vanishing box add-on, which was on the stronger side, which by adding a trade-off increase to hallucination spawn time. Lastly, we've improved the VFX and SFX when using UVX. That's a lot of X's. I just said that. Oh my god, I didn't even read that part. That's so funny. This doesn't affect the balance, but we will make it clear to newer unknown players that hitting survivors with a blast is how you apply weaken and deal damage, not with airborne hits. Until next time, the Dead by Daylight team. Guys, we just covered all of this right here, all the killer updates, all the perk updates, the finishing Mori, all that good stuff. Let me know your thoughts on all of this down in the comments. Let me know what you like, what you don't like, and all that good stuff. But anyway, that's gonna do it for me. Thanks so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Definitely does help a lot. Follow me on Twitch if you guys want to see any DBD action live. I'll see y'all next video maker, right? Later.